Good day, church family. This is Minister Jay, and I'm here with
Prophet Bradley.
And we are here to do a little echo on the ongoing preaching sermon series from our pastor in the month of January. And in this sermon series for this month, the title of the series is Arise and Take Dominion. And so on this first Sunday that we had, it was an amazing sermon, and it was entitled Dominion Through Daggers. And our pastor just talked about how many times in life when God is preparing to lift you up, it'll be people around you. It can be your family or friends or people at work, many people around you, and they'll hit you with sticks and they'll stab you with daggers. The same way when Christ was on the cross, they stabbed him with a dagger to see if he was alive, and blood and water flowed out of his body. And so Pastor talked about that, and he talked about how you can gain dominion through those daggers, because sometimes God can allow you to go through stuff in life to build you up to where he's taking you to. And so there's some areas that you can gain dominion through daggers. One is family. How do you think you can gain dominion through daggers with your family, B?
Well, first of all, before you even gain dominion through daggers for your family, you got to understand that the daggers should make you better and not bitter. And so daggers are something that are thrown to get you off course, but you got to understand, just like you mentioned, the principle with Jesus. When they stuck him in his side, blood and water came out. So daggers should make you better, not bitter. But with family, nobody hurts you worse than family. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're trying to lead your family, you're trying to do better, lead them in the right direction. Right. Whether you're a husband, you need your wife to follow, or it's just whoever. Whether it's a grandma, she trying to keep the family together. Nobody hurts you worse than family, and that's a dagger sometimes that a lot of people don't come back from.
Mm-hmm. And then also, as Christ serving saints in the church, we can take daggers while serving and take daggers in our faith. How do you think that taking daggers in your faith can affect us in taking dominion?
Well, taking daggers in your faith, a lot of times, especially being new converts, mm-hmm. Having things said to you when you're on fire for God, and you're just trying to do the best you can. You're just trying to put your faith to work mm-hmm. and do what Jesus called you to do. But then you have people who, well, what are you doing this for? Why you doing that? And then you doing too much. But sometimes it takes all that and more, especially with faith, because things come to try you every day. And so it's hard dealing with daggers, especially when it comes to faith.
Mm-hmm. And as you said, those daggers are meant to make us not bitter, but better. And then also you can take daggers in following Christ, just in this Christian lifestyle that we live, the principles that we abide by.
Yes.
We will consistently be taking daggers from people of the world. How do you think that we can continue to persevere taking those daggers, B?
Well, I think we can persevere by taking those daggers. One of my favorite scriptures is just one, mm-hmm. and I believe it's in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, if I'm not mistaken. But it says, if Satan knew that killing Jesus would have brought all of us to the cross, then he never would have killed him.
Right.
And so what that's to say is, you receive daggers by following Christ, because when you do what Christ do, then you become like-minded. And Luke chapter 9, it says that if any man, mm-hmm. If you want to be like Christ, you got to first deny yourself. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us don't want to deny ourselves, and that's what it takes to follow Christ.
That's absolutely
denying yourself. Mm-hmm. But once you deny yourself, you got to pick up that cross. And a lot of us, when it's time to pick up that cross, mm-hmm. The daggers don't feel good. The daggers don't feel good. But there is glory on the other side of those daggers.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's just a little sneak bit piece of the first Sunday. If you missed first Sunday, that's what you missed. Just a little bit of it. And so that will be on our pastor's website, michaelclayton.com. You can go and those sermons will be there. And that was first Sunday, dominion through daggers. And then second Sunday, we had dominion through patience.
Oh my goodness.
Dominion through patience. And patience as a Christian living a Christ-serving lifestyle is a very important virtue for us to have. It's also attained through unpleasing things.
Right.
A lot of us gain patience through some impatient situations that show us how impatient we are. And my scripture that I like to think of and hark back to is in James chapter 1, verse 2. It says, count it all joy when you fall into trials. But all these things you are going through is just for you to build your patience. You build perseverance. And so also in these same areas, family and following Christ and in your faith, how is gaining dominion through patience applicable in that?
Gaining dominion through patience with your family is, like we say, it's hard. Because a lot of times ain't nobody gonna get on your nerves like family.
That's right.
You're trying to do everything you can possible, and here it is. You have this issue on hand, and so now patience is something that we all need, and that we really need to have in order to reach to where God is trying to get us to be, in order to get to dominion, for us to have what we need to have.
Yeah. And then also gaining patience, and this is a tough one, in your faith. Because especially in this season of Greater Works in 2022, we are partnering to gain dominion as well, and we are building up new people to serve in the church. And it takes a lot of patience in handing off things such as protocols and being disciplined in certain areas. It takes patience for everybody included. And so hark on a little bit of that in your perspective, and seeing in your faith and serving in church how it takes a little patience.
It takes a little patience because a lot of times when you're doing stuff by yourself, you already know what to do, how to do it, what needs to be done, how you gonna get it done. You already need all that, so you don't need nobody, and so it's already done. But when you're partnering with purpose, which is what we're doing, and then having dominions through patience, you gotta have patience with people, because a lot of times you're not gonna be able to do everything by yourself.
Right.
And so what happens when you get tired?
Yeah.
Or what happens when something, when other things come along and you don't have the enough of capacity to do it yourself? Then you got to depend on somebody else. And so you just got to have enough faith to believe that through the patience of helping somebody else, that everything will come to pass like it needs to, and it will. You just got to hold on. A lot of things don't come overnight like we want them to. And that's where we fail to realize. That's where we don't have a patience, because we now as Christians just want microwave blessings. We want everything right now, like the commercial. It's my money and I want it now. But it don't always work like that with God. And so when patience is working on you, it's getting things out of you that don't really need to be in you in order for you to get dominion, that you might have patience.
Right. And then we all know that we need patience with following Christ in general. We're dealing with people in the outside world asking us why we do certain things. And it can also hark back to the first sermon in dominion through daggers, because through those daggers you gain patience. And I like how our pastor ties all of this together. And so it's really important for us to have patience. And for me as a young man, and living in this generation where a lot of people have questions, and so many times they question the things you do in following Christ, and it takes patience to deal with these people. And share a little bit what you think about that.
Well, it definitely takes patience to deal with people in the world. It takes patience following Christ, because we don't always understand what he's doing. And so that's why you gotta take every day, bit by bit. Tomorrow will take care of itself, but you gotta understand that God knows all. He's the creator of all. There's nobody like him. Don't nobody know everything but him.
Right.
And so with following Christ, you got to understand that there are going to be some mishaps. You're going to have some mishaps along the way. You're going to get some bumps and bruises because you're not going to understand everything. But you got to understand, this is what Romans 8:28 says. It says, for all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord, that are called according to his will and to his purpose, meaning it for the good, the bad, and the ugly. All of that is put into a mixing bowl. And he mixes it all up. So that means even with your imperfections and your hastiness and your stuff to get stuff done, God has a way of sitting you down and making you have patience. Because when you get through at the end of the day trying to do it yourself, you'll be to mess something up.
Right.
But God has a way of sitting you down and letting you watch things unfold, because Jeremiah says that he is the potter and we are the clay. And so God puts us on this he puts us on this wheel, and he begins to shape us and mold us while we're going through this thing that we call dominion and patience. And when God gets through with us, then that's when, like James said, and patience can have its perfect work in you.
Right. So saints, that was just 2 Sundays worth of lesson, and we just got you a little snippet of it. So make sure you are coming to church to hear our pastor and his Arise and Take Dominion sermon series. Like I said earlier, you can go listen to these sermons on michaelclayton.com. These sermons will be present for you to go listen to them there. Thank you, B, for helping me echo on these sermons.
I love it.
And there you go, greater words.
It's some great eating.
Yes, it is.